Hey guys, sorry this video is coming a little bit late. I had a pretty busy week, a lot of stuff to do. I had some stuff to do around the home and all that. But the video is up now, and actually there will not be a Science Behind Superheroes coming out this week. I'm sorry, there's just been too much on my plate to be able to get to it. But it will resume next week, so don't you worry about that. I also have something really cool to show you guys after the questions, but of course, let's get to these questions. This is my Q&A video for 20,000 subscribers. I seriously just I keep saying it, but I cannot picture 20,000, let alone like 1,000 people. I can barely picture 500 people. It's ultimately something insane that I never really thought that this would really come to. And I still like doing this. I ultimately do this because I like doing it, and to know that there's people, 20,000 of them, interested in what I'm doing and interested in watching and learning from it, that's really cool. And I really want to thank the people who subscribe to the channel and keep watching, and people who are coming here newly. I want to thank everyone for being able to get me to a point where I can do this and have such a wide audience for it. That's something that I'm really grateful for. Okay, on to the questions. The Flash 4K was the first one to ask a few questions. He asked, when is your face reveal? Who's your favorite superhero? What is your favorite theory? And when will you do an Omnitrix video? First off, I just want to get this out of the way since I've been asked this tons of times already. The Omnitrix video will be coming at some point. I don't quite know when yet, but I will do one at some point, so don't you worry about that. The face reveal video, I've thought about it a little bit, but honestly not all that much. I don't think it's really that important. Maybe I'll do something like that at like 100,000 subscribers if I ever even get there, but I don't really have plans for one at the moment, type of thing. My favorite superhero, oof. It's like a three-way tie between a few of them, but I think that honestly I like the Hulk the best. The Incredible Hulk is probably my favorite superhero. And my favorite theory would probably have to be the original Spider-Man theory that I did on my channel. Kind of tied with the time travel theory, actually, because I think both are really cool, and actually someone pointed out that in the time travel video, some of that actually relates to speed and like mass and things like that, which is an element of like the Flash abilities, which is really interesting because there's like the Flashpoint paradox and all these time travel elements associated with this fictional speedster concept, when in reality we're finding more and more that there is a correlation between this speed element and this time element. So I think that's really cool, and that's why it's one of my favorite theories. And of course, the original Spider-Man theory is just really cool because that was the first one I ever researched. So yeah, thanks for the congratulations, by the way. The second person, Annabelle X, also asked a lot of questions. I'm going to skip the joke ones for now, and I will just address those after this, my good sir or madam. But I'm going to enter the serious ones. Question 1, cats or dogs? Definitely dogs. How can we not do collabs more often? I don't really get a lot of offers for collabs, and I can't really find a whole lot of channels that I want to collab with that aren't like vastly bigger than mine. Like Gubs, for example. In the last Q&A video, someone mentioned that they'd like to see me do a collab with Gubs, which would be awesome, but he is, oh my god, he's way bigger of a channel than I am, so I doubt that'll happen anytime soon. But I'm actually working on a collab right now, so you can expect that in the future. Do you have a fidget spinner? No, I do not, and oh god, it hurt to utter those words. Fidget, I can't even say it now, can't even say it. Could you do an Omnitrix special where you collab with Alanomali? I really hope I get that right, I really hope I get that right. But I checked out that channel, and I mean, it looks pretty okay. I might do a collab, I might not. That depends entirely, of course, if they want to collab with me. But I'm like thinking about the offer still, or like the potential offer that I could give. Not entirely sure yet, but I will do an Omnitrix video, whether it's a special or a collab or not at some point. Do you have any advice for a new YouTuber? I'm not exactly what like is called a YouTube. Like, I don't live off of this, you know what I mean? This is just something that I do. I do get some money on the side because I do monetize my videos. But I wouldn't consider myself a YouTuber. But for someone who wants to make videos on the platform, honestly, and I know this sounds superbly cliche and probably doesn't even sound very helpful. It probably just sounds like me being lucky, I guess. But honestly, just do what you want to do with it, because it's not a job that's worth it if you don't like it. It just isn't. It's barely a job for most of us, you know what I mean? So just do what you want to do with it, ultimately, and you will have a good experience. And even if it doesn't work out, by the time that you're done, you'll be like, hey, you know, I did what I wanted to do, I had a good experience. That's kind of what matters in this, you know? That's my advice, anyway. Did I make you smile by reading this? I actually have a little bit of that last one because I like to be able to think that I can get that kind of advice. So yes, you did. And yes, I did notice all these joke ones. You skipped 3, it is only 10 questions, you're right, and you marked it as 12. See, that was the clever one. That was the clever one. And I guess I will need water now. Actually, I'm out of water. That's awesome. Alflo asked, how long does it take to make a video? It kind of depends on the video itself. Some concepts are much shorter to communicate than other ones. It depends how in-depth I have to go with it. So let's say I do a superbly in-depth video, like I did with, what was the really long one? I think the Superman one was actually a pretty long video, like 15 minutes or something like that, which is a quarter of an hour. And that one took about, I want to say 2 to 3 days. One I did for research, one I recorded, and the next day I edited and uploaded. And that in itself can be cut down. I could have edited and uploaded on the same day. So the longest video will take me about 2 days, but most videos take me, you know, a few hours. And again, this isn't like 48 hours to make a video. I'm talking like 2 days went into making this video, but accumulatively it's been, at the longest, probably about 6 hours. And the average video takes me 3 or 4 hours. That's counting editing and uploading and all that good stuff. Penguin King asked, who has the coolest suit? Of like any superhero I've seen so far, I am really gonna have to go with, I like the Age of Ultron costumes a lot, and I think it's a tie between but the ending of X-Men Apocalypse was really good as well. I think my all-time favorite superhero suit has to be the one from the Amazing Spider-Man movie in 2012, because I think it's such a creative take on it. I like the idea that, like, you see a lot of shows doing this now, which I think is a very good idea, where you don't reboot something and try to just remake it. You try to make it more creative. And while, of course, the concept of Spider-Man fights the bad guy and wins and gets the girl isn't really a new concept, the suit was changed a lot for that movie, and I think that a lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't very Spider-Man-y. To me, it didn't need to be classic Spider-Man-y, and personally, I liked it a lot because it chose to be so different, and it still, in my mind, pulled it off very well. It didn't try and ride in the coattails of the first suit like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 kind of tried to. Ultimately, yeah, I think that was my favorite suit. The Green Grid, what is your most anticipated upcoming Marvel movie other than Infinity War? I'm really excited for Infinity War, and I'm really excited for Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm excited for a lot of stuff. But I think the one that I'm most interested to see actually might be Venom, which is supposed to come out October next year. It starts shooting October this year. I am not psyched about Sony's Spider-Man films. They recently announced the Mysterio and Kraven movie. Aside from like maybe Suicide Squad, I don't think villain movies are really a cool idea. Like, you watch them and you're like, I can't really root for that kind of character. The difference with the Suicide Squad movie was that there were redeeming qualities in these characters. Like, some of them were able to bring themselves out of villainy, so to speak. Some weren't, which I think should have been changed, but overall I liked the movie for the fact that you could root for these characters because they were sympathetic villains who legitimately wanted to change by the end. Whereas Mysterio and Kraven, like, Kraven maybe, you know, but Mysterio? No way. It's not that you can't make those characters sympathetic, it's that I don't think you should, because you should save them for other Spider-Man films. Anyway, I'm getting off track. The reason I want to see Venom is because, number one, Venom is like the ultimate Spider-Man villain to me. He's just like, he was the first villain that I really knew about. He's been my favorite villain for a long time. In the MCU, my favorite villain is definitely Ultron, but favorite villain altogether in the Marvel Universe has got to be Venom. I'm really excited to see that, and they got the confirmation that not only is Carnage in the movie, but it's in the MCU. So we're getting Venom and Carnage in the MCU, and those are some of my two favorite villains. So I think the most anticipated one is probably going to be Spider-Man Homecoming, but the one I'm most interested to see is the Venom movie, for sure. Oh, hey, I forgot there's another one that asked a few questions. Alright, TM Studio asks, how old are you? Will you be willing to do collabs with small channels like mine? What do you think about Ego the Living Planet? Do you think Living Planet would be possible? Do you watch Gilligan's Island? Do you think there would be a way that you could duplicate a physical object? And are you excited for Infinity War? And again, thanks to Congratulations. It's so crazy because I see these comments and people saying like, oh, I've been here since like 700. And it's like, there's a guy on Twitter who follows me who's been there since before this channel was even like a thing when I used to do gaming. And it's just really cool to see people who have stuck around for that long of a time. So for the first question, I'm a younger person. I'm not like 12 or anything, but I'm on the younger side, definitely. Number two, it ultimately depends on the channel. The size doesn't really depend to me. It depends on the actual channel itself. If you really do make good stuff that I'm interested in, then yes, I probably would. As for the Ego Living Planet one, I actually did a video on that you can click on. Actually, you know what? You can't, because they took away annotations for whatever dumb reason. But there is a video that I uploaded on the Ego Living Planet, and if you don't want to go watch it, basically the outline is yes, a living planet, a planet-sized organism that operates like a planet is possible, but it's not really necessary, and so the chance of it happening is probably, like, it's nearing zero. It's just evolution does not need for that to occur. I actually have heard of Gilligan's Island. I've only actually heard the name, so, like, I have no idea what it's about. I've never watched it. Yeah, I have not. Duplicating objects is interesting because we've actually, I've slightly covered this in a video with Square Physics, the Power Rangers video, on how quantum teleportation sort of operates like duplicating, but it's almost like, it's not moving data, or I suppose moving matter, or moving a theoretical object, but it's copying it, but instantly deleting, quote-unquote, the first one. So, I think there probably is a way to, but I wouldn't know it off the top of my head. And yes, I am totally psyched for Infinity War. I probably could not be more excited. Harry asked, question, who would win in a fight, Batman or Iron Man? Listen, I love the Avengers, but Batman would totally win, because he could outsmart any of them. Just any. He could outsmart Bruce Banner as not the Hulk. He just could. He always finds a way to, which is a reason I also like Batman a lot. Dark Shadow asks, what's your favorite video theory, and what is your favorite DC superhero? I think I answered the favorite video theory one, time between time travel and the original Spider-Man theory, and my favorite DC superhero, probably Aquaman, but I also really like Batman. Chris O'Neill asked, what do you use to record audio, and what is your setup, aka your specs? I have no idea what my specs are. I am not a computer dude at all. It appears to be a computer, I can tell you that much. And I record audio with my phone, so I don't use anything that's very advanced, so to speak. I'm living in, like, the Stone Age over here. David Ramirez asked, how have science and superheroes changed and impacted your life? It hasn't done it on, like, a deep emotional level, I don't think, but maybe to an extent it has because of this channel. But ultimately, it's just allowed me to learn more, and I mean, superheroes are, like, always a fun thing for me. So I think it's just cool to learn more about each topic and be able to tell people about each topic and teach them things about the real world as well. Because there's a lot of cool things about the real world that people don't really know about. And I think that showing people that is sort of like it's almost like holding a mirror up to the world and being like, you know what, it's not bleak. This is actually a pretty cool place. Jorge, I hope I get this right. I think it's Jorge, but it could be George, asks, question of the multiverse is possible and every possibility that exists. Basically what he's saying is what is my opinion on the multiverse theory, and if multiverse theory is true, are there universes in which fictional characters like Venom, Superman, and all that exist in the real world? Quite frankly, I think the multiverse theory has a lot of credibility to it. I think anything is possible, and on one hand that means I think the multiverse is possible. On the other hand, that totally means that the multiverse might not exist, you know, because that's also a possibility. If the multiverse theory is true, then all possibilities exist there. So that could also mean that new possibilities open up in other ones, which means that individuals exactly like fictional people could exist in other universes. You know, it's a matter of speculation really at this point, because we've yet to observe like more than one instance of concrete evidence of the multiverse, and even then the things that we've observed aren't really concrete, so to speak. David Cave. Now before I say anything, this dude's awesome. I talked to him for a little bit, seems like a really cool guy. I have a question. Could body control be possible with some form of biotech? I'm talking Imperial or something like that. Not like telepathy, just control over bodily functions. Yeah, actually, I think it is, because they're already building prosthetic limbs that are robotic, basically. They respond to brainwaves. So totally, yeah, I think it is. Flash Uchiha asked, would you regret never starting your channel? Yeah, I think I would. I had some pretty rough areas to go through when I was a gaming channel, because I was hanging out with people that ultimately I really probably should not have been hanging around with by the time that I really got to know who they were. But if not for that, I wouldn't be here right now recording this and having fun with it. So yeah, I would have regretted it not doing it. I think it's a great opportunity for me to do something that I like to do, ultimately. Alright, last question comes from Dakota Fisk. Congrats, man, and here's my question. By the way, thank you, Dakota. How do you think someone like Black Lightning or Electro or any other bioelectric superhero is capable of using their minds only to channel and use electricity and bend it to their will? And for that matter, any kind of energy manipulation, so stuff like forces, fire, plasma, electromagnetic forces, fire, plasma, things like that. Ultimately, I'm not entirely sure how that works. I mentioned it very, very briefly in my Doctor Strange video, and this is totally like, I haven't researched this a whole lot, that's why I was mentioned very briefly. This is simply an idea that I had. what if there's like a type of energy that you could exert from your body, so using your mind to exert it, that acts like a magnet for other types of energy? So what if it's like a magnet for fire, so to speak? You could be able to ignite something and control fire using this magnetic pull. That's kind of the idea that I had, but ultimately a more realistic view of it would probably be something more like a suit that does it for you and not really doing it with your mind. But as for your mind, that's the best I can really think of. And that'll do it for the Q&A, guys. Thanks again so much for 20,000 subscribers. Before I go, I've actually been working on some poster designs, and basically the concept behind them is using superhero movies and putting a poster of them that looks kind of like a comic book cover. So you'll see the ones I'm showing here, they're all Marvel ones so far. I might do DC ones, I'm not sure, because I really like Marvel. But there's like the little icon in the corner that the old comics used to have. It doesn't look like that, obviously. It's a Spider-Man logo, but it's like just his face. This one is a different kind of logo, but it's the same kind of concept where the title's there, an image that maybe says a little bit about the comic book story. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these poster designs. I might change a few of them, like the Avengers one right here. Not too sure about that one. I'm probably going to change that around. But the rest I'm actually pretty happy with, so let me know what you guys think. What do you want me to do with these? Like, I just kind of like making them. I think they look really cool. But that's not important. What is important is saying thanks again. I cannot thank enough for 20,000 subscribers. That's already, like, been said 4 times in this video, but it's insane. And I have you guys to thank for that. So thanks again, guys, for getting me to this point. I'm glad that I have such a wide audience for this. And for those of you in the audience, stay tuned for next week. Have a good day.